I think we know what time it is. You know what to do. You know the drill. 10 taps. 4 for the hell. 4 for the yeah. 1 for the space. 1 to put a smile on my face. I see them coming. Let's do this. Greetings and salutations. It is 9 o'clock Sunday night, 10th of May, I believe. I was right on that one. Here we are, the Sunday Nighter. Now you'll notice, yeah, 1, it's a bit quiet. Willow doesn't know we've started yet. 2nd, I'm a bit all over the place. You know when you do that sort of like have a drink and it goes down the wrong way and then it comes out your nose? Yeah, not the best way to start a live show, is it? The worst thing is that sort of sicky. Yeah. But here we are. Hello, folks. Right, Sunday night question answers. I want questions. I want a good show tonight. Well, it's going to be a good show. I'm in a good mood, but yeah. What do you call it? What I do want is terrain questions. Now, I do want to make a bit of an announcement about the book. I have finished the water section. The most challenging section of the entire book. And I've got to tell you, yeah, it's been a long while since I've made a waterfall or I've done any real resin work, you know, top end resin work, a long while. If some of you, early days of the channel, to be perfectly honest. Now, you know, Mel suffers a bit with the, it's been a tough month. The project shouldn't have taken a month, but with lockdown and kids and all the other sort of variables. Yeah, but my God, does it look beautiful. Dan's doing his thing. Hey, Tam. Right, let me see if I can show you a photo. Now, if you want to see photos on this, there is an update on Kickstarter. Dave's putting out an update. He put on the photos just before it was finished, yeah, because obviously we're saving the final touches for the actual book. There's also a competition. We're doing a lived-in competition. It can be a new piece of work. It can be an old piece of work. The base size is 6 inches by 6 inches. The information is on the Kickstarter update, yeah, for backers. And if you win it, you'll be winning a piece of terrain out of the book. Not one of the feature pieces, because they're being raffled off. But the smaller pieces that we made, yeah, you know, you could have a little bit of Mel terrain from the book on your table. And remember, it costs you nothing to get in on this, yeah? If you're a backer, just jump on board. Christoph's Ninjas is just saying I'm reading the newsletter right now. The waterfall looks way cool. I'm trying to find you a photo. Yeah. Without revealing too much, you know what I mean? There you go.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
What?
Right, very quickly, let me just show them that.
Reap.
Yeah, is the waterfall. Now, what did you think of it when I sent it you, Wills?
Down.
Now, remember, all the colours, all the techniques, absolutely everything to achieve that effect. And to be truthful, me and Willow, we're going in the studio tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you don't sound too thrilled about that. Well, you can bring your computer. You can go to Studio 2 while Dad potters and tidies up.
My stream now.
And then, Wills, we're not having this tonight, okay? We're having a good stream. ALR Martin. Yeah. So, with regards to the waterfall, looks beautiful, but all the techniques, absolutely everything you need to know to create that waterfall, or any sort of waterfall, yeah, is what you call it. Is in the book, and I'm really chuffed with my work on that one. Dad's work's been getting better terrain-wise recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, because you don't have much to do otherwise.
She's just full of the burn. But, yeah, just to show you, once again, yeah, obviously, there you go. Oh, come on, folks. Now, the reason why I do this thing where I show you the photos on my phone, yeah, rather than than loading them on the screen, is because obviously, you know, we want the stuff for the book. So I don't mind showing you little glimpses, yeah, but you know, the good stuff is right. Fundamentally, yeah, I want the people who made this book possible and got me through this last year and everything, yeah, because it has been a bit up and down, hasn't it, darling? Yeah. Got me through the last year and got my family through the... Have you put makeup on?
No.
Look how red your cheeks are.
Oh. No, I haven't actually put makeup on.
No, you're really, really red. Really red. Go in there, get me the thermometer.
Right.
Yeah. So what I really want is for the people who get the book first, yeah, who've backed the book, to see the photos full quality first time, yeah. So that's why I show you pictures on my phone.
Where is the thermometer?
It should be. Is it on the It's by the Buddha and the rock salt lamp.
Ah, okay.
Good girl.
I went into the kitchen.
And everyone's sitting there going, Mel's got a Buddha and a rock salt lamp. You know the drill?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, yeah, at the start of the COVID crisis, trying to get thermometers, you couldn't get one for love nor money. Now, normally I prefer the digital ear ones, yeah, but you couldn't get them. You couldn't get these oral thermometers, the digital oral thermometers anywhere. But I found out, yeah, that if you buy a baby grooming kit, they come in baby grooming kits. So I've got a baby grooming kit in the bathroom. Close your mouth and hold it under your tongue. Yeah. Ah, right. Zachary's in with the questions straight away, which is great. I have a question, Mel. How would I glue acetate sheets to GW plastic for the purpose of stained glass windows? PVA, mate.
I'm dying.
That's 37. Oral? 36.9, if I remember correctly.
Am I dying?
No, auxiliary 35.9. No, you're not dying, but you are a little bit warm.
Okay.
Yeah, but then again, you've been upstairs wearing your dressing gown and all that sort of stuff. Can you do me a favour, please?
Yeah.
Can you go and watch? You go stand in the backyard for just a couple of minutes.
All
'Cause
right.
I think it may just be a lot of heat, and this house is warm.
All right.
37 is almost normal for an even temperature. It's what they call a heightened temperature. Yeah, it's a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's environmental. It is in no way It is in no way worrying. Yeah, I mean, to be truthful, when Willow got up to 41 when she had meningitis, and I took a temperature and it came out as 40.9, the medic in me went ballistic. Right. But I think it's just, she's been upstairs, she's been playing with her mate, she's had this big robe on. Yeah, so I just think, yeah, 37 is normal. Depends with children. Yeah, but I'm not worried, but she does look a bit hot, and she's been, to be truthful, in daddy mode, yeah, she was a bit groggish yesterday. Now, I don't think it's COVID at all, okay? I just think perhaps, you know, it was in the UK yesterday. It was a bit of a weird day, to be truthful. Yeah. For us in the UK, it was a really hot day. But when you get these hot days, you get a lot of pressure. And we had a lot of lightning storms, to be truthful. Right, now, with regards to the acetate to GW plastic, yeah, the reason why I say PVA is PVA will stick acetate to plastic and hold it strong enough. Yeah, if you use plastic glue, you get smears, all sorts of messes, you get bubbling. If you use a super glue, you can get foaming and you can get frosting effects from the vapors. If you use PVA, it will hold it and it can be cleaned up and peeled off the acetate, which will give you a really good join. Now, this is especially important when you're working with stained glass windows, because the last thing you want is your stained glass windows blobbed or frosted up, innit? Yeah, so I always use PVA for that one, but I do use sort of dehydrated PVA. You know, so I'll get a blob out and I'll stick a blob out and I'll let it sort of lose some of its volume and some of the moisture in it before I use that. Dan Randoms, the average normal body temperature is generally accepted as 37. Some studies have shown that the normal body temperature can have a wide range, 36.1 to 37.2. 37 is the limit for something's wrong. Yeah, with an adult, if it's in its armpit, if it keeps on. Personally, I start to feel sick at 37 plus. Yeah, you are entering fever, but I mean, it is, you know, it isn't acceptable. Right. Need help with balsa catapult? You've got me intrigued already, sir. Shall we continue? I could paint it straight up, or should I prime it first? Afraid it will warp. Never painted balsa before. Prime it, mate. Prime it. Prime it. Yeah, my suggestion to you, actually, if you're concerned about this and you're concerned about the balsa, is give it a coating of thin down PVA first. That'll soak in, yeah, and it will bond and it'll essentially plasticize it. Okay, now you shouldn't have any issues with warping if as long as you evenly apply the PVA across it. So don't apply PVA to one side of it, you know, of your catapult arm and not the underneath. But as long as you apply it all over, you won't have any problems with warping. Okay, but it will strengthen it up and it will prepare it for painting and priming.
Any better?
Come in then, let's have a look. Yeah, you're feeling a bit better and you're not looking so flush. Yeah. How are you feeling in yourself? Because you were a bit off this month.
Dead.
Are you?
Yeah.
I can't tell at the minute. Let's have a look. Feel of the back. Feel of the back. A little bit warm. Come here.
Don't kill me.
Look at Dad. No, relax your neck, darling. Relax your neck.
Beep boop.
Beep boop. You got a sore throat or anything like that?
Yeah. Why do you think I drink so much crusher?
No, how long have you had a sore throat?
All day.
Okay. Don't I feel that? Ticklish, is it? Sorry, guys. Yeah, dad jobs always come first. Right, look at me. Yeah. Okay, listen. This one is going to tickle. Come on. Let me just have a feel. You got it. You wouldn't believe how challenging this is. Right. Yeah, I think we haven't got to hope it. Well, I can just watch call it.
Am I dead?
Well, on the basis that you're on a live show, clearly not. Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to be able to palpate the glands in your armpits, am I? Eh? Right, you seem in good spirits.
Yeah, I'm good spirits, but dead on the inside.
Dead on the inside. God darling. Yeah. I think you're okay. Yeah, but I think you should only have probably about don't show your phone on here because of copyright. Yeah. I think what you should do, yeah, is perhaps have 15 minutes down here with me. And then I think you need to go upstairs, open your bedroom window. Has it been open this afternoon?
You've had it open all day.
Well, I know because I didn't want you getting stuff, but it's shut now, isn't it? And I've had the heating on.
Yeah.
So tell you what, Willow.
Yeah.
Right now, say hi and then say goodbye because there's going to be plenty of live shows that you can be on. You're sitting there playing a bloody game.
Okay.
Yeah. Why don't you go upstairs and chill?
Okay.
Come here, give me a love.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too.
Can I get another glass of crusher?
I don't know if we've got any crusher.
Crusher?
That child and crusher. Did you see how quick it moved? Have you noticed how ill children rapidly get better the moment that there's chocolate crusher? Oh, right. Oh, yes, yes, daughter of mine. After what? After the live stream? Yeah. Yeah, we can, but after the live stream, I don't want you using anything hot in the kitchen, okay? This is Sunday nights for those of you who don't know the crack. Sunday nights are in my home. Yeah, if the kids are around, then the kids are around. And this has been the way for the channel for the past 6-7 years. A lot of you, quite a few of you have watched my children grow up on YouTube. So you know the crack. Now, clearly she's in good spirits, so I'm not going to worry too. Oh, she's back. So we did have Crusher.
Yeah.
Are you back on the show or just
No.
disappearing? Give me a kiss. Love you, darling.
Love you.
Right, let me crack on with my show. Yeah, and then what we'll do is we'll do some cinnamon, what do you call it?
Cinnamon toast.
Right, you're all caught up on homework and that sort of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, I have nothing to do.
You got nothing to do? What are you going to do? A bit
I'll play games with my friends. Why not?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, you go have a good time.
Alright, love you.
Yeah, listen, if you need me, just shout me. If you're feeling sick, just shout me.
Do you have any bucket that I can take upstairs?
Do you genuinely feel like you need a bucket?
Yes.
Do you? Do you feel that
Yes.
sick? 1 second, Dad. Guys, Dad is going to find a bucket for his daughter. Right, Willow? Yeah? Here you go. I know it's the fleecy blanket bucket. Oh God, it's got holes in there. I'll trip all over the house. Right. Here you go.
I don't have to clean it, do I?
No, you don't have to clean it. Just take that and if you feel sick, just be sick in that, okay?
Love you, Dad.
I love you too, darling. I'll see you shortly, mate.
Alright, love you.
Love you. Right, sorry about that, folks. Right, just had to get the bucket. Just had to get the bowl from under the kitchen sink. I don't think she's going to be sick, but considering that in the UK we have what's called a terraced house, okay, and the terraced house is like a 2 up, 2 down. Yeah, with a kitchen on the back end of it and then a bathroom on the back end of that. So she is literally maximum distance from the toilet in this house. So the bowl is a good idea. Right. Shall we get back into the show, folks? Okay. Right, obviously I want questions. Yeah, let's keep it coming. Update with regards to COVID. Bojo has put out a bizarre bloody message today, to be perfectly honest. I'm not happy with UK politics at the moment. Yeah, there's a lot of confusing messages and I don't like that. Okay, now clearly it's the government's responsibility to make decisions in these and advise us, but we need clear advice. I hate wishy-washy advice. Yeah, because it doesn't tell you what to do. Yeah, ambiguity leads to people taking risks. So I'm a little bit annoyed, to be perfectly honest. Now, I'm not annoyed, there's been a few eases of lockdown restrictions. Okay, so exercising more, garden centres have opened, a little bit, a few things like that. But overall, we're still in lockdown. But the language has become, I don't like the language, it's too vague. You'll never get clear advice from a politician. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mel, Ian's asking, planning an industrial chain with GW kits and scratch-built stuff. Having trouble organising the key considerations I should be following to build a refinery that is believable. Any tips? Really, Ian? Have you missed the show for the entire lockdown? Sorry, Ian, not taking the mic, mate. Right, shall we run this through dead quick? Just for you didn't know, I've been working on something exactly that. Yeah, creating realistic and believable industrial sci-fi pieces using GW and other kits. So let's run through this. Okay, a couple of key principles when making your setups. First off is, you need to separate the human areas, the access panels and all that sort of stuff, and build your industrial components first, very much like they would in the real world. Design the machinery, then design the gantries to fit around the machinery. Okay, and that's why a lot of machinery and stuff like that, it's weird shapes. That's why they have these winding gantries that go like, all right, it's going to start there, and then we're going to come up here, and then we're going to go along there, then we're going to go up there, then we're going to go across there, and then we're going to go end up on that bit, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So that's the first thing, yeah? Machinery first, access second. After that, yeah, what we're going to look at, yeah, is start funking it up. And so what you're going to start doing is looking at adding guitar wire. Right, let me get these angles right. Guitar wire for the extra cables. Loads of cabling can be done really easily. Yeah. And that works really well. And then after that, it's lots of little bits of scratch building. Now, those are my major tips. He needs more resin barrels. I've got tons of resin barrels, thank you very much. Now, Ian, Ian, and everyone who's interested, that's the process I take with it. Yeah, I look at the machinery, I make the machinery believable, and I don't just connect things. Yeah. For me, it has to have a flow, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so something goes from this machine over to this machine, something happens here. You know, and by reinforcing themes across the entire set, like these things always feed into these things, you create a believable scene. Right. James is saying we're still in lockdown in Scotland for 3 weeks. I am a bit whatchamacallit with regards to that. Roberto is saying Italy, everything is opening. I foresee doom. I'm the usual pessimist. I don't know, Roberto, to be perfectly honest, because I mean, I don't know what percentage of your population has gone through infection. I mean, you could be at the stage where you've actually, most of your population's had it now. You know what I mean? And you're just about shielding. COVID in New Zealand, we might be coming out of lockdown today proper, down to level 2 when everything else opens back up, but we still need to practice social distancing. That's brilliant. 94% recovered. Still in lockdown for Scotland for 3 weeks. You see, this is bizarre. The idea that we're still in lockdown for Scotland. We're supposed to be taking a 4-nation approach on this. You know, the United Kingdom. 4 nations. Not happy. Social distance. What is this witchcraft? Folks around here have been having street parties, birthday parties, 2 meters distance, try 2 foot. To be perfectly honest, yeah, I was gutted. I nipped up to the shop yesterday, yeah, to pick up some things with the kids staying over for the weekend, and and there were 2 ladies in there buying what was easily 16 packets of burger baps. Kickstarter competition you talked about, does it have to be entirely scratch built? We don't mind the odd little bit, but it's a terrain building competition, mate. We're keeping it really open and flow. We don't want to be really restrictive on it. We want you to just, basically, more than anything, me and Dave were talking, and it's about, we're coming down to the end stage now. I've got trees, yeah, and I've got buildings. Now, the buildings does have 2 feature builds in, which are feature builds. The trees section, the feature build is a tree. Yeah. Now you've got to remember the feature build for the water section was 6 foot of modular rivers showing every possible water effect and crossing and rapids and shallows and deeps and so many different techniques, plus a huge waterfall with actually 4 waterfalls on it, 4 individual different waterfall techniques on it. Yeah. The feature build for the tree section is 1 tree that I've got to build because I want to put it on one of the feature builds for the building section. The rest is just odds and ends. Yeah, so we are really we're really sliding down the slope now, to be perfectly honest, guys. Yeah, so Yeah, we wanted a little train project for you guys to work on and have a play with and that sort of stuff, just as we wrap this whole thing up. Tony is saying the economic fallout that follows will be more of a crisis than a COVID. Yeah, there is that, certainly the economic implications, but at the same time, I think we need, I think what you call in a post-pandemic world, we need to relook at our finances. Because clearly, you know, with no offence, our global economic system keeps failing. And us, simple working people, seem to keep getting this stick for it. Now, I did 10 years of austerity. We came out of austerity owing twice as much as we did going in. So, I'm looking at maybe we needed to do something different. What were all these VE Street parties and barbecues I saw on the news? Is the UK unlocked now? No, then we're not. They're just idiots. Genuinely idiots. Tell you what, that generation that fought so hard to liberate Europe from fascists, and how do we celebrate them? Well, whilst we're in a pandemic that's specifically very deadly to them, we'll have parties! I mean, I don't have a problem with street parties that are socially distanced and stuff like that. We are taking risks and we do have to, you know, maintain. But I've seen conga lines. I mean, you might as well start your conga line and just head on down to the local hospital. Maybe it's 80 miles away. By the time you get there, you'll be ready for ICU. I'm sorry, guys. This is annoying to me. Yeah, and I'm ashamed of my fellow Brits in this case. You know, where I live, yeah, you all guys know, it's a little bit of a rough area. But even over the back. You know what I mean? Even, I've been tidying up my back alley, as you know. Now, my back alley runs all the way down this row of houses, but it backs onto a load of other houses. Yeah, the other side. And, you know, it's Saturdays and stuff like that, and the sun's been shining, people have been in the backyard, and as Mel's been pottering on, Mel can hear conversations and families chatting and stuff like that. And I would assess them as the majority of the people who live that sort of way is British rednecks. Yeah, in the most socially acceptable way of saying that. But even they're being sensible. You know, so I've always had, you know, in a crisis and that sort of stuff, I've always had a lot of respect for us Brits for pulling it together, but damn. The reason for Scotland continuing the stay-at-home advice is that they are slightly behind the infection curve and the R number is higher than in England. Yeah, Tam, but at the same time, yeah, we're dealing with it regionally in England. West Midlands is just as high as Scotland. I mean, there may be average over England, the R rate may be lower. But we're nowhere near throwing out stay alert. You know what I mean? So when will we be getting regular content vids from you, Mel? Like a discussion on what colour cement is. Really depends. To be perfectly honest, it really depends on what the weather conditions are. The closer you get to London, the lower the IQ, but the more the self-importance. Let's not start throwing things like that around. No, we have got problems, and I think every country's got problems with elements. Yeah, and I think that's just society. Yeah, it just annoys me. Now, with regards to actual logistics and what it means and deaths and all that sort of stuff, it's just groundhog. We've just got to get through this. I think the idea that the UK is investing £250 million in cycle lanes, yeah, as part of the COVID response is a pretty good indication of how long we're going to be dealing with this. I mean, they don't build cycle lanes for something that's going to be over in a month or two. Did you end up painting your kill team board yet? No. The UK Freedom Party are trying to organise a mass gathering in Hyde Park next Sunday to protest the lockdown, the coronavirus bill and the mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations. Can you believe it? Yes, I can. Sorry guys, I mean, for those of you who don't know, after the US, I think we're the worst hit in the world. I know we're the worst hit. We've handled it worse than anyone in Europe. So when everyone was screaming about how bad Italy was at the time, I'm like, oh God. I've read that 75 people who attended a US Freedom March have now got COVID. Yeah. Ooh. That's the daughter, folks. Just give me 2 seconds, yeah? Back. Right, just to be clear, Willow was perfectly fine. She wasn't being sick. She was choking on a Smartie. Because she'd filled a gob full of Smarties. Right, okay. Dan saying they build cycle lanes in Leicester for fun. It's the UK's leading city for cycle infrastructure. I love cycling, to be perfectly honest, but I think it's an indication that if they're building cycle lanes as part of the COVID response, they're expecting different measures. You know, they've already told us not to use public transport and to try and cycle more. I think they're going to be expecting us to cycle more for a lot longer. On top of that, they're looking at reducing the air pollution. Now, the reason being is obviously air pollution, lungs, this is a respiratory illness. Reducing the air pollution is going to, save lives. So it's quite interesting. We might end up as a fitter nation. Now, the concern is, I'll be honest with you, one of my concerns is they might try to discourage car use. Yeah, which means obviously taxes, financial penalties, levies, all that sort of stuff. Don't know how that's gonna, Tam say, Mel, possible exception to that is Belgium. I haven't seen the stats on Belgium, Tam, to be truthful. To be perfectly honest, yeah, I've stepped away from looking at the stats. For a long time, I looked at the stats and I used to chat with Jace and Dave, and we try and figure out, right, where is this sort of barreling? Where are we positioning? But I think we were all in the sort of mentality that this would be over with, this would be over with within a month or 2 or 3 months. I mean, a lot of us were looking over at what was happening at Taiwan and things like that, and right, okay, they've handled it quite quick. We can handle it quite quick. And I think so at the time we were looking at the stats to say, all right, come on, where's the peak? Because once we hit the peak, we're coming down. I think as time has gone on and we've looked at the long game, there's no point looking at the stats because it ain't going to change anything. Do you know what I mean? We are here. Oh, looks like we have lost the YouTube chat. Don't worry, YouTubers, I can still see your chat. Yeah, let me pop that out. So I do think, realistically, yeah, I've stopped looking at the stats because there's no point. It doesn't change anything in my life. My concern is, I mean, for me personally, I'm getting into the studio now. I haven't had any problems getting into the studio. I can work from the studio without, affecting anyone. The communal areas are being cleaned daily, and everyone in the studio is being quite sensible about it. We're social distancing ourselves, but they're artists, you know what I mean? So they're quite sensible people. Well, I say sensible people, but yeah. Patrick saying in Belgium we'll peak next Friday, I predict. The thing is, we don't know, when we're going to peak. Because, I mean, if you look at, Spanish flu? The second peak on that was brutal, and there was a third peak as well. I mean, you've got to remember, a peak is just simply lots of people getting infected. That can happen at any point. I mean, the further we go down and assuming that we get an immunity from it, then obviously the peak will reduce once over half, once a certain amount of the population. I don't know if it's half or what. I'm not an epidemiologist, you know what I mean? But it is something we've got to manage. But we are flying COVID tests to the US. It's all a bit bizarre, to be truthful. It's true Darwinism for all these people think that they can go out in mass gatherings. Absolute madness. I think I think the annoying thing for me, fully about the protests and these gatherings is, fine, you're fit, you're healthy, you're not at risk. What about the old deer you pass in the shop next week? I'm sorry. I know, guys, I know I'm not normally like this, but it's shameful. I'm all. Do you know what it is? It's the I'm all right, Jack attitude. It ain't gonna bother me, so why should I limit my life? I want to go out. I need to do this. Do you know what? No, I'm not going to say that because that's horrible. The thought I had then was horrible. Let me rephrase it. Do you know what? There'd be a lot more sense in the world, if this wasn't determined by risk factors. If it took on everyone. And I'll tell you what, there wouldn't be a single damn process if it didn't tackle the ones at the elderly age of the spectrum, but it tackled the ones at the younger age of the spectrum. I can guarantee, yeah, everyone would be inside, and anyone who wandered outside would get the living knocked out of them by any parent. Agreed? Did you see the American lady who cut the hole in a surgical mask because it made it hard to breathe? Yes, I did. And the fact that she seemed to be reasonable in every other count scared the living daylights out of me. Also, I must admit I saw an interesting Facebook meme going round. Yeah, and it was like showing the mask going, it's so difficult to breathe in this. Then it's got a picture of a squaddy wearing an S10. It's like, laughs in NBC. You can't wear a mask to the shops. Do you know what it's like to sleep in an S10 respirator? In the rain. Eddie the Eagle was on Danish TV today. Great movie. Brilliant. I'm in a high risk group, so I see most folks around here aren't using masks. That worries me. I understand, Bill, and I know you're in a risk group. I remember you saying very early on. Mel, I'll tell you, I hope these idiots protesting all give that. No, we shouldn't wish that these people give this disease to anyone else. We should hope that they don't, but we need to acknowledge that they're going to be the causes of bloody outbreaks. Nice one, John. Perhaps if they took the names of all the people at these math gatherings and said, if you get COVID-19, then you and your family do not get treated. Martin, I know what you mean. And I do know that there's that resentment. Yeah, but we've got to be careful about that resentment. Yeah, because when the dust settles, it can turn nasty. The people protesting also have legitimate concerns. I totally agree. That there are legitimate concerns. There are concerns about the economy. There are concerns about, rights. There are concerns about domestic abuse and suicide and mental health. Yeah, but all those concerns are being generated because of COVID. So if you're going to protest about them, at least protest them in a way that doesn't make the COVID situation worse. In other news, a pub in the next town has been fined for the 6th time for opening and now has been served with a prohibition notice. Prison. Just not talking much terrain tonight. We're having a right bitch, aren't we? And to be truthful, it's been a May bank holiday in the UK, and this weekend I have seen lots which has upset me. There's resentment rife through the public. We all have to rely on fines. So for the fines to be heftier. Yeah, a lot of people. I motioned for the fines to be heftier. I have been working on some of those Warlord Games ruins. I need to add some extra details and patch the thatch with fur. I like that idea. There's already enough discrimination. People that might have had the disease without more fear-ridden protesting. To quote Spock, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. Dan saying he's picked up some of the Green Stuff World UV resin for basing. Excellent product. I've got some in the studio, I think. Patrick's asking, any idea for basing Star Wars Legion Barricades? I would go with, I've got some of those. I know the pieces you're talking about, and they're quite chunky. Yeah, I would go with 1mm plastic hard, mate, with a little bit of filler grit mix. Has anyone here had the disease? I'm pretty sure I've had it, in all honesty. Yeah, the reason being why I say that is because back in February when Corbyn came back off cadet camp, I went through the whole symptoms not long after him, and two of the three defining features for me were, one, I had a lymph gland come up in my neck, and I have never had a lymph gland come up that swollen in my life. I mean, I couldn't even touch it. It was agony. And even looking to the other side and stretching the skin over it hurt. Secondly, I had a couple of days where I struggled to breathe looking back. And then probably about a week later, I had 2 patches of thread vein come out on my chest there, which is an indication of bleeding lungs. Yeah. And so I'm pretty sure I've had it. And that was my response. And as you know, even healthy people get lung damage. Now, I've got COPD. So, I mean, in hindsight, before we were even thinking too much about COVID, yeah, I do remember one night where I've just felt like I had to prop myself up. Yeah, I thought I'd got a cold or something like that because I was struggling to breathe. In hindsight, Jesus wept. I could have gone to sleep and not woken up the next day. Yeah, so, but I'm pretty damn sure that I've had it. Yeah, still tiny little bit of thread vein there. You know, I had the pains as well. Symptoms were pain on leaning forward and compressing the chest. Yeah, I had a cold running pain down my back, a sharp referred pain centre of my shoulder blades. The lips were a little bit cyanosed when I look back. So I'm 100% sure I've had COVID. And if I haven't, God help me. John's saying, you're looking a bit worn down, Mel. Are you okay? Actually, I'm in good health, mate. To be truthful, I'm looking a little bit worn down at the moment because I've had a good weekend with the kids. Yeah, I'm just a little bit tired and I've had to have a daddy nap before the show. Yeah, the problem is that, as you know, I've worked into getting myself into quite a proper routine, getting up in the morning and that sort of stuff and maintaining a routine. The kids have adopted this later get-up style at home. Yeah, and so when they come here, I have to get up in the morning where I have to stay up late as well. So it's been a bit of a burner for me. Pardon me. Damn, Christoph. A month back, they only tested me because of 4 weeks I still wasn't my old self. Diarrhea? Yeah, there was a batch of diarrhea with it, bad gut, sort of every symptom when I look back, I went through. Absolutely every symptom. Trying to pull into a more positive tone. How was the games with the kids over the weekend, Mel? Really good fun, mate. Yeah. Me and Corbin, we started The Hobbit, yeah, and he loved it. He now understands why I call him Frodo when he walks around barefoot in the house with his short shorts. Yeah, but we really liked it, and I think actually it's quite possible that we're going to go down that route and maybe a little bit of Lord of the Rings because he seems to have really caught the bug for it. And what I'm saying is we're only watching The Hobbit at the minute. We haven't got to Lord of the Rings. He's got a vague memory of it from when we watched it when we were earlier, when he was younger. Yeah, but he isn't quite there yet. You know, he can't remember it all, so it's still really good. With Willow, I've just been prattling about and that sort of stuff. Maybe it's the pause frame I have on my screen. You look mildly undead. It could also be the light. You know what I mean? I'm having something right now despite all the carefulness. Maybe a throat infection, might be COVID. It's not that bad, but mildly worried since I do have diabetes. Yeah, we've all got the... I think not knowing if you've had it or not is a real... I'd really like to know that I've gone through it. You know what I mean? But... Did you catch any of the Mantic Virtual Day on Saturday? I didn't, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. The reason being was quite simple. Yeah, I was with the kids. There is a COVID vid from Lord of the Rings. Oh, don't even. Yeah, there's every vid. Middle Earth terrain incoming. We've already done quite a lot in the Greenfield stuff, to be truthful. He'll loved Lord of the Rings. Led it 3 times in high school and after. Yeah, I loved it. Really love Lord of the Rings. Behind the scenes vids. Several hours of model making. Yeah. You show him the original animated Hobbit, Lord of the Rings and Return of the King. That's old school. The old BBC ones. Mel, you look washed out, I think, due to a grey t-shirt. I think probably is the colour. Yeah, but to be perfectly honest, guys, I am a good colour. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember when we had Willow on earlier. I mean, to me, she was bright red. Yeah, she was pale on the screen, so I think it's probably the lighting. But I am in good spirits, I'm in good health, I'm on the up, and me and Wills are heading to the studio tomorrow. Now, I am just rambling and I'm concerned about my little girl. So since we're not really chatting about terrain questions, I'm going to call it. Yeah, because we are just bimbling. And, you know, I want to go check on Willsies. You look fine on my calibrated monitor. There you go. I need a calibrated monitor, to be truthful. I need one of those. Right, I'm going to call it, guys. I'm going to be back on Tuesday night. Yeah, fill the screens with hell yes. 10 taps, 4 for the hell, 1 for the space, 4 for the yeah. I want to put a smile on my face. Yeah, when we come back, I'll be telling you about my adventures in starting the building section. Yeah, but for right now, you have a cracking weekend, guys. Listen, it's been lovely chatting with you. Yeah, but I've got a little girl upstairs I want to go check on, and daddy duties first, you know what I mean? See you later, folks. All the best. Ta-da. What a time for the YouTube chat to come back in. Filling the screen with hell yes. Perfect. Laters, guys.